and welcome to another edition of Cubs on Tap. Ron Luce is off tonight, and I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Teddy Freddy 270, Mr. Tyler Edmonds. Recapping your Cubs loss tonight. Cubs can't get the job done in the second game of the three-game series. Tomorrow, we will preview that later, but for tonight, the Cubs have their guy in the mound get beat pretty handily. They did battle back and showed that typical Cub resilience that they have over the course of the season, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. But first, before we dive into that, Tyler, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Man, to be honest, I'm bummed. I'm not down. I'm not all the way out. I'm not giving up. I'm just bummed right now. Bummed. It's just like a complete 180 from last night. But yeah, physically, I'm fine. I'm here. So there's
we're here. We're recapping this one. Justin Steele gets to start tonight and just got singled to death for a lot of it. I thought missed a couple spots here and there in the 7-run fourth, and the Cubs trailed from then on, and we're playing catch-up. Ian Happ hits a grand slam to make it close, but the bullpen just could not keep this ball game close enough for the Cubs to truly be in it. The Pirates added some padded stat runs at the end of the game, and the Cubs lose this one 13-7. Tyler, let's first start with the pitching. I think that's been kind of the talk of the last couple months. They've got either really solid pitching or it's been like this, where it's been this up and down roller coaster. It's never been as consistent. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but you look at this bullpen and they're taxed, man. You could tell when Ross goes to the pen, he doesn't know what he's getting because it seems like a lot of these guys are tired. Their stuff looks flat. But just talk about Justin Steele and what you saw out of him tonight in an unfortunate start.
I think you just hit the nail on it. Taxed, tired. Justin Steele, dude, first 3 innings was lights out, man. 6 strikeouts. Looked like he was in the zone. Looked like one of those games where, we're finally about to make up for his last 2 games. This is the 3rd straight start he's made that he's lost, and I believe. His 3rd the 3rd straight game he's pitched they've lost, and it's just, man, tonight felt like it was going to be one of those nights where he was going to be locked in, and like I said, he was locked in at first, and then just that 4th inning came around, and man, I hope it's nothing as far as injury related or anything like that. I know I think Ross bumped him up just because I think they had that extra day off, and so bumping him up for tonight was going to give him the final start of the season as well. I don't know. To be honest, I'm not sitting here pointing the finger at Ross saying, oh, man, he shouldn't have done that or anything like that. I'm wondering, maybe, like you said, maybe the dude's thrown 50 more innings than he did last year. It could be a thing of that. And like you said, man, like when you're just constantly tonight, 7 pitchers. Who would have thought in a Justin Steele start that Ross would have thrown out 7 pitchers? Crazy. I honestly thought, to be honest, and Wesneski's been Wesneski here lately, just hasn't had it. But like at the time when I believe it was 8-2, I even said, I was sitting here thinking, like, just give the ball to Wesneski and say, here you go, buddy. You have it till you don't anymore, until and who knows, maybe they had that big inning there in the 5th or 6th when they came back and scored several runs and got our confidence back up. Maybe it was one of those things like, all right, I'll throw in Leiter Jr. now, and maybe we can stop the bleeding for a second. But at the end of the day, man, it just goes down to they're just taxed. I feel like they're just tired. It's like your stuff is flat, and it showed tonight, and it just not what we wanted to see.
Yeah, and I mean, to add to it, there's so many like huge names that have been huge contributors over the course of the season that are on the injured list. Yeah. I mean, you look at Albert Alzolay is on there. I mean, they have Nick Madrigal. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody
You've got
big.
you've got Strowman that is not. Yeah, he's back now, but he's not back in his normal role. Imagine if you had Strowman in this rotation, you could say things could be completely different. So, yeah, Michael. I don't know if you said Michael Fulmer, who
Michael Fulmer. Yeah, that's what I was forgetting.
his numbers haven't jumped off the Baseball Reference page. Me and Ron talked about it last night, but just those are guys right there that have been key contributors throughout the vast majority of the season. And it's like the analogy we talked about last night. It's like that car. We've been in that race for all season long, and the freaking radiator's blowing out. You've got a few tires that are looking low. The check engine light is on, man, and it's just, God, we're just dragging here at the end, man.
Yeah, Darren jumps in there too. The Candyman, the guy to trade for, also down. It's a huge miss out of the middle of that lineup. Yeah, I don't know, and maybe going into like more in depth here at a bigger picture type thing is maybe what we need to do at least a little bit. I don't know if you guys had a chance to do that last night, but who do you blame this on? Do you blame this more on the players for not having a good start and having the dreadful May that they had, or is this on Jed? Like, because depth is a real thing, and there's a reason why teams can do this baseball thing consistently over 162 and not skip a beat. It's because of depth. And we went over, the names that were in the hat going into this year, and there's just so many names that you could pull out that just never contributed for this team. I mean, Hosmer to, Keegan Thompson, who was here for a little bit and then sent back down. And then, you talk about a guy like, Brandon Hughes, a guy who would be great to have right now. And I know that there's some of these guys are still working back, but you have to win these next 2 weeks. This isn't work back time. This is pedal to the metal time. And it just, like you said, it feels like the Cubs have morale wise, they're pedal to the floor right now. And 50 miles an hour is all they got on the racetrack.
I agree. And I think, I know we talked a little last night about this whole, there's been this story just trying to be created as far as should David Ross be fired after this season, after this potential colossal collapse? And when I wouldn't right now, and I'm not trying to justify, oh man, this is, we're losing right now. I'm not saying, using this as an excuse, but it's people forget Chicago was 10 games back at one time. So to say, oh, this is all David Ross's fault, to me, it's not right. I think at the beginning of the year, Ross had his hands tied with guys like you said, Trey Mancini, Eric Hosmer, Tucker Barnhart, who wasn't. I mean, offensively, he wasn't there. Let's be honest. And then we even, like we said last night, Hayden Wesneski. We all thought that guy was going to be the number 5 starter. And hell, I said at the beginning of the year, this guy's going to lead the team in strikeouts and all that kind of stuff. But this is where you watch this, and you can say a lot of it is with injuries, obviously, but also this is where you look at teams like the Dodgers. Yeah, they've got a Mookie Betts. Yeah, they've got a Freddie Freeman, but then they get these so many other supplemental talented pieces. Not to say that what Chicago has is untalented. It's just they get so much more talented depth and guys that they just consistently pull up. And let's throw, guys like a Chris Taylor, and they just got Kike Hernandez and the guy from the shortstop from the Marlins. I can't think of his name. My mind's gone blank, but I mean, just so many different pieces. And that's just the difference in teams like that. I mean, you can even say that about the Rays and other teams as well. It's just, I don't know if you can blame it all on just one specific person, one specific, it's Jed, it's David, it's the players. I mean, because there is a point where the players do have to come through. The players, I mean, we could go back and dissect so many games as far as points of the season where, oh man, you get a guy on second or you get a guy on third with less than 2 outs and you don't score and stuff like that. You can go back to Jameson Tyon's rough first 8 starts. You could say a lot of things. So it's like, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and play the play the blame game on anybody. It's just, God, it's just so freaking frustrating right now because, like you said, these 2 weeks here are just, this is the season. Every series is a playoff series, pretty much. It is.
Yeah, I think you were thinking of Miguel Rojas.
Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to to connect those dots for you. A lot of good comments. Let's jump into that for a little bit and just kind of go through what people are thinking. Jeremiah, always in our comments. This is the Miles Mastrobuoni legacy game.
It was good tonight.
Yeah,
three hits.
And I'll say too, there's a lot of people who were throwing some shade at that lineup construction as well. I understood it in the beginning, but I don't know. There's not a lot of options. There's
no, and I can understand everybody's upset because Canario didn't start. I get that, understand it. After last night's game, but at the same time, with the way things started, or which the way things turned out after that 4th inning, would a Canario been a difference maker in this game? Probably not. But at the same time, I can understand, hey, the dude was lights out yesterday. Why not start him? Why not start a Christopher Morel back at third base? I know, like you just talked about with Candelario being out, and which supposedly there's a chance he could come back. Taylor McGregor talked about it late tonight. He could be back late this weekend. Hopefully, it would be great. But if not, why not throw a Christopher Morel back over at third base? Let him play back-to-back games at third. Even though Mastrobuoni, I'll say that now, but Mastrobuoni was, awesome tonight. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, just it's brutal, right? There's not a lot of good options.
No.
Hank jumping in the comments here too. Steele looks so gassed, arm fatigue or arm injury possibilities are on the table.
God,
I don't know about arm injury. I think Justin, if he were in pain,
I feel like that's something that
we would know.
We would at least hear some rumors about it, like right now. I feel like we would have heard something.
Especially with the last couple starts he's had. I feel like that would have been something that would have came out after the last one. I hope that's not the case, but possible. Stay Clem jumping in here. Can we just walk to Brian Hayes for the love of God? Yeah, he's pretty damn good. Clem right after that says the not enough was done at the deadline to sustain this team into a playoff run. We're seeing that now. Yeah, I think we talked about it pretty openly on this show in May when they were losing games consistently, and for a little bit of June when they started there. They were digging themselves one hell of a hole that was eventually going to rear its ugly head. You can only go to the well so many times before it's dry. And it just seems like in so many different ways, the lineup, the starting pitching, the bullpen use, like there was very few guys you could trust in that bullpen all season. And it seems like all of that's just catching up. That's exactly where I think this thing it is. And then Darren too. I'm openly not the biggest Ross guy, but this last while can't be blamed on Ross at all. And I kind of want to comment a little bit on that and go a little deeper into David Ross, because I know that, Tyler, you gave your opinion on, his you can't, in my opinion, you can't blame David Ross for now if you don't give him credit for the comeback after May. So, in my opinion, has he been the best manager in baseball? No. Not even close. But there's a lot of worse ones out there. Look around the league. And we've always – I think in some ways we need to be patient, because good managers, in my opinion, are the product of good GMs. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
If a GM can make a roster manageable, anybody with a solid lick of baseball knowledge is going to be able to manage that team adequately.
Yeah, because at that point, you have a solid group of talented players. You're basically managing you're managing chemistry. You're managing personality. You know what I mean? Like that. So yeah, like you said, if you can get a roster talent enough of players, hey, just keep the chemistry high. And so, and to be honest, for the vast majority, for the all season, it seems like it's been a pretty banded group of guys.
Yeah. And I mean, Joe Madden was one of the managers that brought the Cubs a World Series after 108 years. And then where did he go? He went to LA, and he was god-awful out there with a pretty decent roster, all things considered over that way. Not the best, but he was also ran out of time.
Yeah.
Managers, to me, are just a product of what the ball club looks like and what it's put together as a GM. Yeah, there's some guys out there that your Craig Counsell's, that can, manage better than most and get more out of a team. But those guys are few and in between and normally don't leave. This is the only thing I'll say about Ross, and it's going to be my last comment about him before we move to another topic of the night, which is the offense, which had a pretty solid night, all things considered. The only way that I'll okay a David Ross firing in this offseason is if you feel like you can upgrade your manager. And to me, there's maybe only one name that's going to be available out there that's worth considering, and that's Craig Counsell.
Yeah.
After that, it's going to be Ross B, Ross C, because there's good managers don't leave. They just don't.
Yeah, I agree. And then, other than Craig Counsell, which I'm good with David Ross, but like, other than that, do you really want to bring somebody on, somebody new, somebody, not as maybe experienced in a managerial position to come in and be responsible for a team that's just right on the verge, right on the cusp of, being a playoff team? Do you really want that? I don't think so.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think there's not a lot of good options. I'll gladly hand the clipboard to anybody else and say, get them there. And you know what they do for Ross? They play really damn hard. It showed tonight.
Yeah.
It showed tonight. They were down. They could have quit and lumped their way through and said, all right, we'll give them tomorrow. But, yeah, they didn't. They 100% tried to battle back. But really quick, back to the comments real quick before we move on. Scott, 10 games ago, win 6, and they are in. I think they got to win more than that. I think they got to win 7 to probably get there and be comfortable with that. Maybe if you get some help.
So you've got to be pushing for. I know freaking Arizona is hot right now, but you've got to be pushing for that second wild card spot, because you get stuck with the tie. You get stuck in a situation as with a tie, and tonight would have been a amazing, perfect opportunity to get another game up on both the Marlins and the Reds, and with the Giants losing, which I think they're like 2 or 3 games back now. But you don't want to get in a tie with the Marlins or the Reds, because then you're out.
Yeah, 100%.
Just because they have the tiebreaker between them two, so you still got to be pushing for that second spot. But yeah.
What do you at this point? You're hoping you need help for that second spot. Let's just call a spade here, and you can't accept to get help. Just get in any way you can, get that last spot. Hopefully, what Scott said is true. You got to win 6. I think they can win 6. I think that there's 6. They can win 6 out of 10, even with their energy on E. Real quick, just to go over the lineup, I thought that they had a pretty solid day. All things considered, 7 runs should be enough to win a baseball game when you got your best pitcher on the mound. But
totally. Any
guy that you circled on your lineup card and said, man, he had a really nice night.
Oh, Master Boney for sure. Master Boney for sure. And then Seiya early in the game. I think he had 2 hits tonight. Maybe he did. No, he just had 1. But at the beginning, came in big single there at the beginning to get the scoring started. Yeah, he had a little bonehead base running mistake there, which I know it was at the time, it was 1-0. At the time, we didn't realize it was going to be like a 13-run game, but it's like we talked about earlier, as far as like mistakes on the bases, got himself out right there. Like I said, I know it ended up being a 13-7 game, but at the time it's 1-0. Can't do that. But yeah, Mastrobuoni was not. And then Cody Bellinger, 2 big doubles. That was nice to see. Ian Happ, obviously. So yeah, overall, the offense, just like we said yesterday to bring it over tonight, the offense showed up. The offense did exactly what they needed to do. Hopefully, if anything, and look at Texas. Texas bullpen right now, just to kind of give an example, Texas bullpen is just imploding right now. But when you're scoring 8-9 runs, hey, we may not be pitching very well right now, but hey, we're going to outslug you. We're going to out-hit you. So hopefully, oh my God, I mean, you don't want to see the pitching end up being like this tomorrow, but to give your pitching staff 7 runs, that's more than enough.
Yeah, it seems like if they could hit like this over the course of this homestand, they're going to win a lot of baseball games.
Yeah.
I think 5-1 is a good is probably a good shelf to look at. I think that's probably close to what we're looking at when we look at this. Sorry, I just got a little sidetracked. But yeah, just back to the comments real quick before we jump over again. Scott's crazy. People want to fire Ross for potentially not making the playoffs with a roster at the beginning of the year that was 70-win team. Yeah, I said the same thing, Scott. At the end of the day, I 100% said this team at most was going to win 76 games. I think that was my prediction in the beginning of it, and
I don't think I had them winning 80 games this year.
No, I don't think any of us looked at it and said this team is a perennial playoff contender. I think though these games, and this is just a full picture thing yet again, these games are great experiences, and the fact that Justin Steele and Christopher Morel and PCA and Alexander Canario and some of these younger guys are getting this experience, I think it's very, very valuable. I think at the end of it, we'll look at this season and we'll go, okay, like this was the moment where we could see the building blocks and the foundation being laid. And now you can add on the siding and start to build up from this to create the castle that you hoped you have at the end of it.
Yeah. I mean, and like Ross said, when a lot of these younger guys got caught up, it's like, hey, this isn't a try to figure it out right now. It's one of those kind of things, like you're going to get your spots here and there and everything like that. I mean, he said it. I mean, it was thrown out there right as soon as each of these guys were called up. Look, you may get your chances, but you're not getting this. I'm giving you time to kind of figure it out because, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, wasn't happening. And so I get it. People upset about, Canario we'll go back to him for a second, as far as not starting tonight. I mean, you knew it was probably coming. And it's the same way with PCA. Like PCA, it wouldn't shock me if PCA didn't get another start. I mean, which is fine. He's still getting that experience that you talked about and we're talking about. Like, I get it. His bat hasn't been there, but his glove can play. His speed can play. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he makes maybe we use him late in the game later this week or next week, and he comes up big for us or something like that. But yeah, it's nice to see these young guys getting that experience, whether or not all three, whether or not PCA and Canario and whoever else makes the opening day roster next year. I kind of doubt it, but you never know. But at the same time, it's nice that at least they are getting this experience early, and hopefully it's something that they can build upon next year and here on out.
That's all you're asking for at this point. And they're playing decent baseball. They have a chance. And I think Nico Horner said it perfectly on 670 The Score the other day. If you would have given this Cubs team in May the opportunity to make the playoffs and the position that they're in, I think every single one of those guys in the dugout would have taken it. There's plenty of time to win some ball games and finally get in and make some noise, because as we know, when the playoffs do start, the schedule changes and it's easier to mix in some rest and win games with less arms and less contribution. You could really shorten your bench. But Tyler, before we get out of here, not fully out of here, at least move off of this game. Any final thoughts on today? Anything you want to bring to the table to talk about real quick?
Man, just hopefully this was just a small little bump in the road for our guy Justin. And man, just keep hitting the ball. Like say that, just keep hitting the ball, because definitely going to need it these next final 2 weeks. Well, week and a half.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully they can just hit the reset button, go to tomorrow, win a series. I'll actually be at tomorrow's game, and then I'll see you the day after.
I'm telling you, tonight is not dampening my mood for this weekend. Not going to dampen it tonight. Ain't happening. I don't care if we lost whatever the score was. This weekend, man, can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Tomorrow's ball game is a 6:40 start yet again, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
6:40. It'll be Kyle Hendricks taking the bump for the Cubs versus Johan Oviedo for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Tyler, what do they got to do to win this baseball game?
Man, Kyle Hendricks has got to be Kyle Hendricks. You know, the whole 6+ innings, 3 runs or less. If he can do that, offense shows up, maybe we can turn this thing around. Maybe got to win the series at the very least. Got to win between this one and Colorado for sure. Have to, at the very least, have to win both these series. So hopefully Kyle can be Kyle Hendricks and the offense just continues to smash the baseball, hopefully.
Yeah, it'd be nice actually just diving in deep with the numbers for the Cubs versus Oviedo. Nico Horner and Ian Happ, both with a 500 batting average and over 10 plate appearances. 16 for Ian Happ and 10 for Nico Horner. So those two are guys that circle. Also, Christopher Morel hitting. He's 3 for 10 against the Pirates the right-hander? Yeah. Pirates right-hander. On the other side, Brian Hayes hitting 444 against Kyle Hendricks. A couple of home runs. Got to hope to keep that guy in the ballpark. It's not good if they're hitting home runs tomorrow. But like I said, I'll be at the game. So hopefully.
Hey, Kyle's last outing. I was at his last outing against Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago, and he was very good. He was very good. Him and I believe he faced Keller in Pittsburgh, and they went neck and neck for a while. So hopefully he does the same thing. Does the same thing tomorrow.
Well, you can't say that he hasn't pitched big games in a Cubs uniform.
Yeah, you can't say
tomorrow is yet another big game for the Cubs. I'm sure you guys did fly the W players last night, but knowing those numbers, Tyler, do you want to change your thoughts for tomorrow's ball game for the rubber match of this 3-game set?
Yeah. Let's go with – I'm going with Nico Horner. Guy went hitless tonight. Believe he's going to make up for it tomorrow.
I like it. I'm going to roll with Ian Happ. Hit the home run, the grand slam tonight. Hopefully he keeps it moving. The coffee man gets Wrigley percolating tomorrow night. It'd be really nice to see that happen. Tyler, before we get out of here, I do want to hand you the baseball.
Hang on. Oh, wait. You just threw it. I caught it.
And that means you have the floor, my friend.
So look, I get it. Tonight sucked. These past 2 weekends haven't been that great. But I'm not giving up on this team right now. I know we've talked about, oh man, like it's been a good season no matter what. And with that being said, I'm not throwing in the flag right now. I'm not like they're still I mean, hell, this team went on an 8-game winning streak just 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? 3 weeks ago? I mean, we beat the Braves. We beat the Braves in a series. We swept the Giants, who at the time was a good who was a good team. They were rolling at the time. Like this team can get hot again. So don't count the Cubs out. Don't count the Cubs out. Don't get on Twitter. Don't tweet on X or whatever you want to call it. Your negativity. I get it. Right now it sucks. We got punched in the balls a little bit. That's okay. You get up. Here's the thing, Juice. Let me just a little analogy. I once had a skunk get in my car, under the hood of my car.
No.
Ruin the shit out of it as far as it smelled like ass for months. But it got in my car. And you know what I did? I sucked it up. And I got my grandpa to get the damn thing out of there. And you know what? I still drove that car, and it still sits the front of my dad's shop today. So guess what? Sometimes skunks get in your car. Shit happens, but you can rebound from it. There's still time. I'm not throwing in the towel, man. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sit here and bash it. I know other people here. There's other people out there, Cubs fans, Cubs accounts, whatever, that sometimes just want to find things to bitch and complain about. Let me find something negative to say because we're losing and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to do it. And like I said, sometimes you get punched in the mouth. You just got to get back up. It's like what John Lesser said a few years ago. Sometimes we just got to get our, rubbed in the dirt a little bit. It's going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
I love it. That's one of and Scott already chiming in. That's one of the greatest Teddy stories ever. I 100% agree. I'm going to echo that sentiment there for you, Tyler, and say, yeah, there may be skunks in the car. There may be some weird smell from the back. If you ever been on one of those long road trips with family, man, like the car starts to smell. There's sticky shit all over the floor. You're tired of being in the same car with them. But you know what? I'm going to say this. You and I and the Cubs on Tap crew are going to be out at the ballpark this weekend. And yeah, there's a lot to play for. But unfortunately, we may be 2 weeks away from no Cubs baseball.
Exactly.
So you know what I say to that? I'm stuck in the shit car with the skunk and all this bullshit. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of these last 10 games. Because regardless of where they fall, this season was a success. They won't say it. They're gonna say, well, we should have made the playoffs, and I don't blame them for having that expectation. But if you see where all these teams in Chicago are right now,
exactly,
the Cubs they have the brightest future.
Yeah. I mean, go look at the Bears. Look at the Bears Twitter right now. Exactly.
No, don't do it. No.
It could be worse.
Get yourself sick. You go ahead and type in Bears on Twitter right now. Yeah, it's pretty bad. This has always been my palate cleanser, Tyler, for the last couple of weeks. As you know, I do the Bears show now too. So
yeah,
palate cleansers.
But yeah, and like you said, we're going to be out this weekend. If you see us, obviously we're going to be at Murphy's for sure. If you see us, 100%. Man, come by, drink a beer with us, and just, let's talk some baseball, man. We're going to be out in the bleachers on Friday. Come by, say hey, chat it up. Like I said, just let's have some beers, and man, let's just bring good vibes, positivity. The rest of this week, I get it. Right now sucks. Tonight sucked. It's okay. It's all right. It's just one game. We're still right now. We've got a playoff spot. Okay. We control it. We control our destiny right now. We have a playoff spot right now. Okay.
And that's all you can ask
Good
for.
enough.
The last 10, that's all you can ask for. A chance to control your own destiny, control the season. And we're thankful for it here at Cubs on Tap because we are one of 2 Chicago Cubs podcasts here at the On Tap Sports Net. Make sure you're heading over to www.ontapsportsnet for all your sports and literature needs. There you can find Bulls, Bears, Cubs, White Sox, unfortunately, as well. Make sure you're going over to that. The guys at the Sox on Tap crew do such a wonderful job. We cover other things other than that. We covered soccer, a little bit of Chicago flair as well, what's going around the city. We do some little pop culture, things like that. Make sure you're heading over to www.ontapsportsnet for all your sports, literature needs. This is always so fun, Tyler. And like I said earlier on, there's not many of these games left. I love getting on the mic with you, talking Cubs. I cherish them. And what I cherish the most, buddy, is the fact that at the end of every show that I do with you, you usually let out some type of wonderful, wonderful rant. And if we ever needed it to raise some morale, tonight would be the night if you got it in the tank for it. I know you said smelly skunk car, and that was funny, but I need one more for you out of you, buddy.
Juice. I don't know if you heard. If you think you're down, if you think we're down in the dumps right now, I don't know if you heard, but came out yesterday. We talked about it yesterday. There's a little team out in St. Louis that they got eliminated already. They're done. You want to talk about colossal collapses? What about a colossal failure? You spent the whole season. Yeah, Wainwright got his little 200th win yesterday, but you spent the whole season listening to him. Hey, coach, don't give up on me, coach. Please don't give up on me, coach. Please, I just give me enough time to get number 200, please. And you know what that cost you? Your season. And on that note, from the bottom of my heart, just with everything that I have, skunk car and everything, fuck the Cardinals.
And as Wilson Contreras says, it's better on this side of town. Let's go Cubbies.